You guys know the ordeal. Miitopia is existing, therefore that is my excuse to play other games. Let's do this. I've been talking about Pikmin 2 for a very long time, actually. I don't know how many times I've talked about it, but I just know that you guys are probably tired of it by now. Yes. Perfect. Okay, let's do this. The Valley of Repose. So yeah, this is Pikmin 2. I played Pikmin 3. I didn't finish it, because the final boss is terrible. But I will try to finish this. Maybe. I'm just kind of doing whatever, because, you know, Miitopia and all that jazz. That was a close. I have averted a crash landing. Running diagnostics. Hold on, let me get my dog. Come here. Come on. Get up here. Come on. There you go. Alert, danger. Louis is missing. He must have somehow fallen out of his cockpit. He is not responding via his communicator. He's either flouting protocol or in danger. Olimar, you must find Louis before he freezes to death in the cold of this planet. Wait, a moment. Look. My dog's on my lap now. Could these be Pikmin? They look like they're about to be devoured as we speak. You must help them quickly. Press B to call them with your whistle, Captain Olimar. Are you okay? Okay, you got it? You can also hold B to make the sound of your whistle carry farther, remember? Yes! I do! Okay. So the controls are a little bit different. That bulb board will not eat the Pikmin, so don't worry about that. So the controls are a little bit different here. You have a pointer now. I guess they did that in Pikmin 3 Deluxe. But I remember in the original Pikmin 3 they had the touch icon or the Wiimote. But I kind of like this a little bit more. I don't know why. I mean, I know the Wiimote controls are like nice and all, but I do kind of like this a little bit more. Alright, come here. We got him. The Pikmin ran to your side. They seem to remember you, Captain Olimar. How fascinating. Give them instructions and do not delay. Hold A to grab a Pikmin and release to throw it. Can you lock on in this one? No, you can't. You can't log on to this one. Okay, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But that's fine. It doesn't really matter. I am kind of used to, like, locking on, but it doesn't really... It's not that big of a deal. Attention, Captain Olimar. I've just re-established my communications link with Louis. It is fortunate we have managed to confirm his safety. Press Y to communicate with him. I am quite interested in the details of his condition. Why? I haven't used a GameCube controller in a hot minute, so... Louis, allow me to assess your condition. As per our safety protocols, are you at all injured? Is that so? Then my concerns are eased. Our communication link shows that you are nearby. Can you make your way to the location to rejoin us? I navigate for you. Press start/pause to contact me and obtain information about the terrain. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, this is Pikmin 2. It doesn't look as good as Pikmin 1, I guess you could say, but I still like it nonetheless. Okay, yeah, these guys can't do anything, actually. And there's not enough of them. What shall we ever do? My dogs are going acting very weird. I can't let them out of my room or else they'll do their business in the apartment. So that's, you know. Perhaps this object is one of the treasures that we were searching for. The only reason we found it here is because this is where you crash landed. How fortunate. I would like to appraise this, but you must regroup with Olimar first. Can you see him? Okay. I already... Yes, thank you, I already know. I am going to have to get used to the controls a little bit, but it's whatever. I do remember there is a Wii version of this game, which had the Wii controls. Louie, can you please... What are you doing? What? Oh, I'm so stupid. I am so stupid. I totally forgot what to do. No, I remember now, but I just forgot. So you can also punch in this game. You can do that in Pikmin 3, but now it's just like an actual button rather than you having to be close to the monster or the enemy. Louis, the odd object before you appears to be one of the onions mentioned in Olimar's report. Yes. I do hope in Pikmin 4 they get rid of all. They give you an option to not listen to any of the tutorial. So Louis' like, what? The seed the onion injected just sprouted. According to Olimar's report, it can be plucked with A. It can. Give me that. Thank you. So, I know. You don't gotta tell me. Okay. So, this thing means how many Pikmin you have currently. So now it's 0. That's how many Pikmin are out in the field, and the one all the way to the right is how many Pikmin you have total, which I'm kind of glad they got rid of the one all the way to the right because there's kind of no reason to have that one. But it's whatever. So I do like this game a little bit more than Pikmin 3, mainly because it's more difficult, but it also just has, I feel like it has more variety in its stuffs, you know? I don't care, please stop showing me these things. I know how this game works. I get it though, it's the beginning of the game, you gotta tell people to play. Then you take the most seeds, the pellet must be Pikmin, just the Pikmin gather nutrients and bring the motherships yay. Oh yeah, one thing that this game also did is it doesn't have... In Pikmin 3, they do like a little bit of a delay, but in this game, you can kind of just throw Pikmin as fast as you want. But in Pikmin 3, they did not do that. They kind of made it so you just couldn't throw Pikmin as far as you want. Also, I will say, as cool as the charge function is in Pikmin 3, I like this a lot more. If you move the C-stick, your Pikmin will just walk to that location, which, I don't know, I kind of like that a little bit more. Honestly, because it makes it a lot easier to gather stuff or put specific amounts of Pikmin. It would be nice if they just would add it as a separate option, like you can charge and do it at the same time, you know? Oh, I forgot, I gotta tap A in order to keep plucking them. So we only have 12 on the field. I can't wait down this bag, there's gotta be something that I'm missing here. Back here, maybe? No, this is where it landed. I forgot how the start of this game... Oh, up here, okay. I forgot how the start of this game worked. Okay, so he's gonna do that, he's gonna do that. Okay. I will say, one thing that I do... Another thing that I like about this game more than Pikmin 3 is the fact that there's a lot more things that you can gather to improve your quality of life. It doesn't have the dodge from Pikmin 3, but it has a lot of stuff. Like the fact that you can whistle Pikmin to get them out of the onion later on in the game, which is very useful. I don't know why they didn't bring that back. That's such a nice thing. Like, I know 3 people pluck the Pikmin, but whistling them out is just such a nice thing. Especially in Pikmin 3 Deluxe where they expanded the range of the whistle. Because they didn't have the touch controls anymore. Which is weird, but I guess it makes sense. Because even though the Nintendo Switch screen can be... This is going to be a weird sentence. Can be touched. It's not really made to be touched on. Because the only game that... I guess there's some games that utilize it, but I never like to use the Nintendo Switch's touchscreen because it just feels like useless, you know? Alright, so you guys know the ordeal. We've all played Pikmin before. Oh, I need 35 of them, huh? Okay. Well, I think there might be some pellet posies, I think is what they're called. Here. That's another thing. I'm going to be comparing so many things. That's another thing that I think the original Pikmin 3 did a little bit better. I don't know if it does it in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, but in Pikmin 3, when you locked onto an enemy, it would tell you what it was, which I think is awesome. It doesn't really do that anymore, which kind of sucks. So unlike Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 3, Pikmin 2 you have unlimited days to do whatever you please. There is no deadline. Pikmin 1, you had 30 days. Pikmin 3, you make the days that you have. I think the max is 76 days. If you gather all the fruits in like the fastest amount of time, I think it's 76 days. Unless it's just 76 fruits and I get that wrong, but it's probably more than 70 days, honestly. Either way, it's a lot of days that you have. Yeah, I don't actually think we can get that bag down yet. I think we actually I think we actually have to wait until the next day, but we'll see. I will say I do like that though. I do like having unlimited days because I like the premise of collecting money or collecting items for money rather than making your own days. Because I mean the game makes up for it by being very difficult, and I don't know. I think that's nice. I guess. I believe there's a Bulborb over there, a big one. But for now, and unlike Pikmin 3, I will be losing most likely a lot more Pikmin in this game because it is just that difficult. Also, you can't throw Louie. That was a dog barking. And my dog's barking at any time in this video. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't throw Louie, but you can dismiss him. Is it X? I think it's X. Yeah, okay. And then you can switch between them. You can't throw Louie, but there will never be a point where you really have to. And I don't know. I know like the areas in Pikmin 3 are really big. Hopefully in Pikmin 4 they have the areas of Pikmin 3, but also the caves of Pikmin 2, because I like the caves. They provide a new system, because you can stay in the caves forever. Because when you go in the cave, time stops, essentially. So it's a neat little mechanic. There's still stuff to do in the overworld, though. Oh yeah, there's a lot of branding in this game. So this is a Duracell battery. There's a lot of Japanese branding, because, you know, it's Nintendo. Our first day of exploration has yielded our first treasure. We will be done in record time. I took the liberty of naming it when I appraised it. The name reflects my current thinking. Leave it to me to think of the catchy names for hit products. It is but one of my many talents. Oh, I forgot. I gotta do that. I gotta read the names of everything. We shall end our first day here and report back to our president. His face will surely be joyous. However, to communicate with the Hogatate, we must fly into low orbit above the planet. We will now return to the surface until morning so as to avoid indigenous nocturnal creatures. That's one of the reasons why Bulborbs sleep during the day, is because they're nocturnal. We might see one of them. Oh, there's a small one. The Bulborbs in this game are like crazier. Like they can mess you up if you're not careful. The normal one is fine, but there's like a spotty Bulbear, there's a flaming one, there's an ice one. There's a lot more range in Bulborbs than Pikmin 3, and I like that. Thank goodness we didn't lose any today. So unlike Pikmin 3, Pikmin can now die with every single element. Fire, water, electricity, explosion, and poison. And electricity... Well, I guess technically explosion is just as deadly as electricity, but electricity just kills them instantly. Like, there is no... Because the thing is with explosions, you can react to it, and you can react to electricity, but for the most part, your Pikmin will just instantly die. So, yeah. You found your first bit of treasure. Fine work. Our future depends on your efforts. To check your treasure hoard regularly, I'll check in often. Keep up the pace. So just like with every Pikmin game, you start with reds and you end with blues. That is usually how it always goes. So, now we go back to the Valley of Repose. I think it's the same planet as Pikmin 3. I know Pikmin 3 is set on Earth. I don't know if Pikmin 2 is though, but I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think they named the planet. I was gonna say Planet 4546B, but that's Subnautica. Good morning, workers. Ready for another day of toiling for profit of your company? The Pikmin seem to still be asleep inside their onion. What lazy creatures. No wonder they lack survival skills. Stand beneath the onion and press A to call them out. They're not lazy creatures. They're gonna do 99% of the work in this game. Obviously. What are you doing? Why are you walking around? Lay down. My dog seems stressed. I don't know why. Okay, come here. Yes. So we need 35 of you, which is not too bad to get. What's the point of coming up here? Just to check your surroundings? I guess that's neat. I don't remember all of the intricacies of this game, but I'll try to remember most of them. Ah, yes. Here we go. There's a 5. Oh, 2 5s. Another thing that I find interesting is that in this game, your Pikmin have health, essentially. Like, they can still die if they light on fire, but, and they won't die if they lose quote-unquote health. Basically, if you turn your Pikmin into flowers, they can lose their flowers in this one. So essentially what that means is they'll have flowers, and then if something like blows them away, or they just get knocked over too much, just beaten up essentially without essentially taking damage, then they'll lose their flowers. So the flowers are kind of like their quote-unquote health. You know? Also, pepper poses kind of grow a little bit faster in this one, I think. Move the camera a little more, thank you. Right, come on. There you go. Good job. Alright. So obviously they're going to start you off pretty easy. I think we should go into our first cave today. And we should get our second type of Pikmin, which is purples. And purples were... they were nerfed. They were nerfed so heavily in Pikmin 3. I mean, but that's the thing, like, they weren't super overpowered in this game because they were super special. You couldn't get them by normal means. You had to find them in caves. So, like, it's not like they were... I don't know. They didn't need to nerf them, in my opinion. White Pikmin are still fine. As always. It's really hard to, I guess, nerf a white Pikmin. Maybe their poison does less damage, maybe. I don't know. So now we have a Bulborb, and this is where the charge function would be really useful, but also, look at how fast you can throw Pikmin in Pikmin 2. See how fast you can do it? It's insane! You can't do it as fast. Okay, thank goodness. If you kill a monster before he picks up your Pikmin, he will not eat it. 10, right? But the reason this is, you know, still useful is when you're collecting treasures. I mean, more Pikmin for that, gotcha. Well, I guess you guys can work on this then. So, like, if you go into a wall, you just push them towards the wall, and then they go, and then they do it. But you can still throw them. You know, it's no big deal. Never mind, he doesn't want to. What's your deal? Why are you freaking out? He doesn't need to go to the bathroom, that's for sure. Because if he did, then he would be crying. So he's just being all stressy for some reason. Why are you being all stressy? Calm down, dude. Give him the sleepy pills or something. I won't do that. I don't even think we have sleepy pills. That was a joke, okay, everybody? Calm down. It is a little bit difficult to break down walls in this game. That's basically it. I'm just excited for Pikmin 4. I hope that Nintendo Direct is coming soon, that's for sure. Someday. Pikmin also are a little bit slower on this one. But actually, never mind, they're not. They're just not flowers yet, that's why. When they're flowers, not only are they faster, but they do carry stuff faster. Plus, we don't have whites, and whites are the fastest Pikmin in this game, so you know how it is. So I don't know if I mentioned this in any of my Pikmin 3 videos. Your Pikmin can get lost if you walk too fast. So as you can see, some of them are falling behind. But you have to be really far away from them. Usually it won't ever happen, but it can happen. So, you know, you guys can grab this here. I'd also like this a little bit more because it makes it a lot easier for the Pikmin to get around something so more of them can carry it. Because the charge feature is nice, but a lot of them get left behind and you can never have fully enough Pikmin on it usually. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, but it would just be nice. Who's not on it, huh? We're missing some. Good job, everybody. I'm could Pikmin destroy such a massive wall when master their might is ferocious? Louis, did Olimar instruct you on proper Pikmin commanding protocol? Apparently not, Olimar. You are failing. Pikmin is already... Use the C-stick for swarming Pikmin. Yeah, the GameCube controller, it's not a... It's a C-stick, not a stick. Why is it called the C-stick? I know it means camera stick, but I feel like there are many more games on the GameCube that use, like, I don't know, I feel like there wasn't that many games that actually used it for the camera. There was a lot more that used it for utility, I guess. Maybe. I could just be... Maybe I'm thinking of the Nintendo 64 controller. Either way, this game is a good example where... What's my dog doing? This game is a very good example of how it is not used for the camera. If you want to move the camera, you can press ZL. And then the Z button makes it go up or down, and then this zooms it in and out. I don't know why you would ever want to have it this close, because like a Bulborb could just sneak up on you. Oh, he scratched himself, okay. It looks like a little fish guy. It might actually be a fish can, or a soda can. Utter scrap, okay. Japan just roasted themselves, their own products. Like, in my opinion, this is too far, because it's just like, yeah, you can see more, but like, why? This is too close, because there's so many Pikmin behind you, and you just don't know. Like, this is just perfect. This is also a little bit... I don't like this as well, because it's... I mean, you do know where you're aiming, but if you're aiming for something that's like up here, this doesn't really work. But if you do that, then you can kind of see the latitude of it, you know? Just little Pikmin nitpicks. The nitpickmins. It's a cave! Our first cave. Interesting. Warm air is welling up from the hole in the ground before you. What could lie underground? What is wrong? You both show expressions of unease. Do not fear, the leader's... Oh, he is whining. He might be thirsty. I'll be right back. Alright, I think it's all good now. Let's do this. Push the home, press A and jump in. You got it. And we go. So yeah, time stops when you're in a cave. Thank you for saving. Yeah, it saves. Intriguing, my heat sensors indicate that this hole's interior is warmer than on the surface. Analysis suggests subterranean areas may support different life forms than this surface. If you wish to check underground terrain, press start/pause to communicate with me. Mine just says plus. I am not just a ship, I am an all-purpose support pod. Perfect. So, very, very nice. So, yeah, fruit in this game just gives money. It does not give, like, days or anything, so... That's fine. Land on him. No, get him. Get him, get him. Land on him. No, 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 no. Just get him. 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 Boom. That's what's up. Okay. I think this is just Citrus Lump. I think the names that it gives the fruits in Pikmin 2, it will give the same name in Pikmin 3. Yeah, so Citrus Lump. Which is neat little detail, I guess. But I mean, I guess they would have had to do that. You know. Yeah. So now comes the worst part of any Pikmin game. Waiting for them to move, you know. But the interesting part about this is that it does not matter how many Pikmin are in your party when you go into the next hole, they will all go in with you. Which is very nice, because let's say you get all the treasures, but there's just some monsters or maybe some booby traps, because some caves will have booby traps. You don't want to deal with them with your Pikmin, you can just leave them at the start of the cave and just walk to the end, and you will bring them with you to safety, which is awesome. You can also do it if you're if you're doing a cave again because you missed a treasure. You can just leave your Pikmin at the mark, keep going down, keep going down, keep going down, that kind of stuff. Louis, you do recall that you can adjust the camera with L and R and Z, correct? Your expression suggests that you do excellent and proceed to enter it. Whatever, we just gotta wait. Yep. So you monsters do give you money, but he's gonna be all like, how can you possibly consider this beast a treasure? Beasts are incompatible with my circuitry. I suppose I will store your friend's finds in my hold, but I do not think beast will be worth much. Yeah, so most of the time they'll just be like worth 3 cents. See, just like that. Bosses, however, will be worth more, which is nice. I think some bosses are worth like 130 coins, all that jazz. So it's not quenching emblem. It's not like too bad. And that sound means that you have found every single treasure in the game when it goes that sound. So now I don't have any Pikmin in my party, but oh, there they are. So I will say, as hard as this game is, it does do a pretty good job of introducing mechanics that does make it easier for you, which I really enjoy. I love that. Emergence Cave. Oh, that's what this one's called. Emergency Cave? Or is... No, because emergency has a Y at the end, right? Oh yeah, and just in case you didn't know, that means that symbolizes that it's the final floor. So, yeah. There's actually 6 types of Pikmin in this game, but I've actually, even though I've experienced with them, I still don't fully know what they do, called Bulbmen. And Bulbmen are interesting. I think Bulbmen can't get eaten, maybe? I still don't even know. I've played this game so many times, and I don't really use Bulbmen that much. That is a globe, in case you're wondering. No, we cannot pick it up, because you need 101 Pikmin. Well, you might be asking, how in the world are we going to get 101 Pikmin? Well, it is quite simple. We can't. 101 Pikmin is actually feasibly impossible in this game. You can only have 100 Pikmin out in the field at once. So, that brings up the question, how will we do it? Well, some of you might think that this little bit that I'm doing is stupid, because we all know how I'm going to be able to do it, because they were in Pikmin 3, so it's, you know, it's whatever. Honestly, I know other people might not be fine with it, but I think I would be fine if they didn't introduce new Pikmin types in Pikmin 4, and they just, you know, they just figure out a way to make every single Pikmin manageable, which would be hard, but the Pikmin team, in my opinion, is very good at doing what they do when it comes to managing Pikmin. Every single game has gotten better, in my opinion, when it comes to that, and I think Pikmin 4 might be, but who knows, they might come up with new Pikmin types. I just don't know what they could be. Air? Could there be an air Pikmin type? I don't know. Astounding! A flower blooms in a cave deep beneath the snowy landscape. Clearly it is warmer down here than above. Look, the Pikmin are restless. They look as if they yearn to be tossed into the flower. They yearn. I like how he says that, even though they make an interesting sound when they are tossed. Which is that noise. Oh no, did I only do 4? I meant to do... No, okay, it's 5, thank goodness. Okay, just gotta spin the... Okay, I would have liked to, okay. This, my friends, is purple Pikmin. They are the slowest Pikmin type, but they are also the most powerful. They can stun enemies, I think. I think they can stun enemies. They do the most damage, and they can carry the most, but they are the slowest. And that's basically it. You mainly don't have to use them in the overworld, but they are the most powerful. So if there's an enemy that's really giving you trouble, like really giving you trouble, because this is the only way you can get purple Pikmin. You can only get it in caves. And although you can just do this cave, I don't think you can do it over and over. I think it needs some time to respawn. But you can go back in this cave and get more. But either way, this is the only way you can get them. You can only get them in caves, you can get them in other caves, but still. So I wouldn't recommend using them all times. In fact, even if a boss is giving you a hard trouble, you should still not use purple Pikmin. Because some bosses will decimate your Pikmin if you are not careful, and if you lose purples, well, it's very hard to get them back. I think the most purples I've ever had in a game was 55, maybe. Like, when I finished the game, I guess. So as you can see, purples are not very fast. So purples are the only Pikmin in this game where even if you do have them as flowers, they do not, sadly, they do not keep up with you. They keep up with you better, but they don't keep up with you fully. So that's another thing to make note of. So basically, what I like to do when I go into a cave is I like to leave the purples behind. I like to bring like 10 with me, or 5, because 5 will usually get you enough, but in this scenario you would need 10, but so 5 to 10 depending on how many I have. And then I just leave the purples here. Wow! So this Spherical Atlas, as the game calls it, will allow us to go to new locations. There's a device resembling a microchip embedding inside the sphere, retrieving data. Error, I could only decide to just code a portion of the data, but I did retrieve new geographical charts. I will input this data into my planetary database and name it the Sphere Charts. Please press start to contact me. Now that we have this new data, you should be exploring the decoded territory tomorrow. So we do now have new locations to explore. In fact, I think, can we end the day early in this game? I think we can end the day early. So, unlike Pikmin 3, where you can choose which Pikmin you want to use before you throw it, in this game you have to hold a Pikmin, and then, is it the D-pad? Yeah, you gotta use the D-pad to switch between them, rather than switching between them beforehand, which is a little bit annoying, but it's whatever. So, it's not too bad of Pikmin management. It can get a little bit annoying, if you're in like a fight, which is one of the reasons why the final boss is best with yellows, because it's only one Pikmin type to think about. Because if you're at the final boss and you're like, oh gosh, where are my yellows? Where are my yellows? You know, it's gonna be very bad. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't know what else I can talk about. I haven't played, like I said, I haven't played much of Pikmin 1, so I don't really know what this game did better than that game, honestly, that much. I think I've beaten Pikmin 1 once, like 100%, got all the stuff, but that was one time. I don't really remember it because it was a little bit long time ago. Astounding! Water is shooting out of this geyser with incredible force. Sensors indicate it has enough power to launch you into the air. Approach it and press A to try. You got it. Alright. Yes. I find it interesting that water, they don't like water, yet they can take geysers normally, you know? But it's whatever. So we are... Oh yeah, cave complete. So we got all the treasure chests that we needed. Luckily, no Pikmin died. Awesome. I do enjoy this game's just overall complexity sometimes. I also like that you can get to the final boss before you complete the game, because you can, I think, because it's hard for me to say. What am I trying to say? This game has more content. I think usually the way the game puts it, you will find the final boss cave before you find the actual, because in my opinion there are some caves that are harder than the final boss cave, and that's the point. I think there's a cave called the Cave of Heroes, which just is insane. I don't remember if this exists. It might exist, but if it doesn't, it would be cool if there was like a boss rush cave, which there might be. I don't really remember, but if it isn't, they should definitely include that in Pikmin 4 if they do bring back the caves, like a boss rush cave. I think that would be neat. Or just a boss rush in general. I know Pikmin 3 had it, but the reason I say I want a boss rush cave is because you start within the amount of Pikmin that you have, and then you slowly go deeper and deeper into the cave, and you keep, you know, you have Pikmin from the start, and you have to hope that you can keep them until the very end, right? That sort of stuff. Because the thing is, Pikmin 3 does have a boss rush, but it just gives you the amount of Pikmin that you need, or whatever. And what they could do is allow you to get more Pikmin maybe during the boss rush, depending on how they do caves in Pikmin 4, because maybe they will allow you to get more Pikmin in caves in Pikmin 4, I have no idea, but that's basically it. So yeah, purple Pikmins do not have their own onion, so they will reside in the ship. And off we go. Why is that big Bulborb sleeping? Is it Spotty Bulborb? Or no, because it's Spotty Bulbear that's the purple one. Spotty Bulbears in this game are a lot crazier than in Pikmin 3. Because one, they have more health, I think. But two, they can heal themselves when they die. So you can kill them, and if you don't get them back into the onion fast enough, they will wake up and they will eat everything. Baby steps first, Olimar. Plan well and don't worry about... Sorry, hold on. I should probably read this. And don't worry about me. Our debt is with Happy Hokadate savings and loan after all. Besides, there's nothing left to repossess, so ha! Okay. They could repossess you, you know, like take you to jail and stuff. Anyways, that was Pikmin 2. I do like this game. We should have 2 new areas, I think. Never mind, just 1. This is the Awakening Wood. This one has 4 caves. I think the final boss cave is in the Valley of Repose. In case you didn't notice, there was water there, so we couldn't traverse any further. So, obviously, the final, I think the final boss cave is here. But anyways, that's basically it that I have for you today. I guess we can check out the Piclopedia. Snow Bulborb, Dwarf Red Bulborb. Oh, it's just Red Bulborb. Okay. Well, there's so much work that I feel like not many people will look at. Pikmin 3 does this too. Like, they have notes from everyone, including Louie and Olimar. But still, the fact that they did this in the GameCube version too is pretty cool. And that's another thing that I like about Pikmin is that they went in depths. Like, they're part of families. You got Grub Dog family. They even have their scientific names, right? So this is part of the this is part of the Bread Bug family. Is that a thing? If you're part of a family in like the animal kingdom and you grow up, do you become are you classified in a different family? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, Grub Dog, and this is also Bread Bug. And even the plants, pelletweed, yeah, it is called pellet posy, clover, candy pop. Like there's so much in depth that not many people will ever look at, and I think that's very neat. There's probably a table out there. I want to look up to see if there's like a family tree table or something. Like this is part of the Grub Dog, this is part of the Bread Bug, this is part of the Crab family, the Spider family. But other than that, that was Pikmin 2. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.